Guys, I really hate to have to be the one to tell you this, but come here, like, closer. You've been hoodwinked, tricked, played the fool, bamboozled. But don't worry, we're gonna get you together. You're gonna learn today. I wanna give you an analogy. I love analogies because they paint such a vivid picture. So I want you to just go into the recesses of your mind and imagine this scene, if you will. You're cruising down the road. Okay, you're in your car, it's your beautiful car, smell it, imagine it, right? And on the seats of your car and the floor of your car are stacks and stacks and stacks of money. You have millions, maybe billions of dollars in your car, and you're cruising around, full tank of gas, you got the AC on, life is good. And you come to a stop one day and someone taps on your window and they say, "Hey, why do you have your windows up? Don't you see what a beautiful day it is?" And you think about it, like, yeah, it is a nice day. They said, "Man, you missing this cool breeze." Yeah, there is a nice breeze out there. I kind of like it, okay. And they said, "You see that bakery right there? All that smell that's coming from it, the pan dulce. You can't smell any of that with your windows up." And you're like, "Yeah, that's true. I can't smell that." And they're like, "You hear that music coming by the nearby discoteca?" I don't know why I'm using Spanish analogies. And you're like, "Yeah, I hear that. I was missing those glorious sounds." They said, "What if someone's trying to get your attention and they're hollering out to you and you can't hear them?" So you start processing and you're like, I was missing out a bit. You know what? You make a good point. Good looking out, right? So you take off, gas pedal, hit the floor, vroom. You start heading down the road 40 miles an hour. All your windows are down, right? We see where we're going with this? But now you're enjoying the sounds, you're enjoying the breeze, and you're smelling everything that's out there. Now, this sounds crazy, right? It sounds ridiculous. You're weighing it out and you're like, come on, let's think that through. But really, hold on. Before we get into this, before I tell you how mainstream media has lied to you, I'm gonna ask you a quick favor. If you can like this video, if you just stop right now, just click it super quick. That will help me so much. If you get through this and you enjoy it, leave me a comment. That means everything to me. I'm a talking head. I'm talking to a camera. So my life is being able to see your comments and see your reactions. So leave a comment. If you want to take it to the next level and share it with someone, that's amazing. But if you want to really make my heart pitter pat, subscribe. You can subscribe. And if you want to hit the bell notification so that you're notified every time a new video comes out, you're a rock star. God bless you. I love you. All right, I'm going to get into this. And one more thing before I do, I want to tell you who I am because I'm not so arrogant to think that everyone watching me knows me. My name is Yonci, as you can see by the channel. Yes, that's my real name. I get asked that all the time. And my journey has been incredible the past 6 years. The reason why I call this channel Chasing Yonci is because I'm out here trying to find my purpose, discover who I truly am. So I am chasing Yonci, and it has not been an easy road, as you guys have seen. If you watched the first video, I went through clinical depression, major anxiety, a lot of heartache, divorced after 12 years, single mother, 2 kids. I've been through a lot, and on my journey, I have learned so much, so many priceless lessons. I would never go back and change it. And so what I want to do is package up all the lessons that I've learned into neat little videos and share them with you. So that's my journey. And I want to get back into this topic, but wanted to introduce myself. Don't want to be rude. So to give you a little bit of backstory where this subject came from, I have a group and we talk about a lot of things regarding relationships, dating, sex, love, marriage, the whole nine. And a lot of times the guys in the group would say things like, "Man, if she makes me wait, I'm out of there." Or, "I'm not going to wait these 90 days. And Steve Harvey's rule is crazy." Just all this emphasis on having to wait during the dating phase, not in a relationship, but like in a dating phase. And so I posed the question to my group members and I asked the guys specifically. I said, if you met the woman of your dreams, like when you close your eyes and you picture this woman who is everything, like everything you have ever wanted physically, okay, emotionally, she checks all the boxes. She just is like joy to your soul. She's your peace. She brings you comfort. She cooks for you, whatever your dream list is, okay? I don't want to give too many details because it might not be your dream, but imagine your dream girl. Looks, acts, does, your family loves her. If you have kids, your kids get along with her. Just everything is falling into place. How long would you wait if she said, I want to hold off on sex? What is your maximum wait time? That was the question that I posed to men. And I made this extreme for a reason. I wanted to really segment sex and see how important sex was in a relationship. And mind you, I didn't say she said sex is off the table. Okay, she's not talking about she's abstaining from sex altogether. What is that called? You can have abstinence, and then you can have oh my God, I can't think of the word, celibacy. Because people always confuse the two. She's not saying she's celibate, okay? She's practicing abstinence for a time. So I wanted to know, based on the guys, responses, how long a man is willing to wait, AKA how big of a priority is sex in his life. And not surprisingly, but disappointingly, a lot of men said that they would not be willing to wait. They're like, maybe 90 days at the most, but I ain't trying to, I'm certainly not waiting for marriage. Or if she says a year, I'm out of there. One person even went so far as to say, like, well, how would I know she's my dream woman if I haven't smashed? I'm going to get into that little comment later. That little tidbit was packed full of talking points. So I'm going to save that for later, put a little pin in it. But that was the question that started it all, okay? And it led me to think about this. We talk about sexual freedom, right? There was this huge revolution in the 60s where everybody became free. They became liberated to open their legs. And I wanted to know, are we really free now? Are we truly free? Or are we now sex slaves? Are we slaves to our sexuality? I really want to get into, let me back up before I say that. 2020 has been a crazy, crazy, crazy productive year for me, and it has been life-changing. I was coming out of a divorce, and I was facing this time in my life where I wanted to get real with myself. I did inventory. Every couple of years, I do inventory, and I'm like having a conversation with myself. Yonci, what do you like about yourself? And what do you, more importantly, dislike about yourself? And then I take the filter of what can I change? It's like that prayer of serenity. Give me the, I'm going to butcher it, but the prayer of serenity. You're dealing with the things you can't control, but the ones you can control, God, give me the strength. Okay, don't get on me. I don't know it verbatim, but the serenity prayer, okay? People use it in AA or whatever. So I like to look at the things that I can control. And one of the biggest things that I was not proud of when I was alone with myself was my lack of self-discipline. And lack of self-discipline covered so many areas of my life. And I had negative results because of my lack of self-discipline, but I felt powerless to change. I didn't know how to overcome my emotional draw to something or my physical yearning for something. I didn't know how to do it. And that's what this channel is going to mostly cover, is how to do that, right? But I got to a point where I said, I want to have self-control in all areas. And this is what I want to get into. I think that so many of us don't have the ability to control ourselves sexually that we miss out. I want to take a moment to do a shameless plug. If you want to get more information on me, you can follow me on my social media handles. I'm on Instagram as Chasing Yonci. I have a Facebook page, Chasing Yonci, and then my website is chasingyonci.com. So take a look, follow me, engage with me. You can see more about my crazy life in there. But I want to get into how important is sex. So the funny thing is that when you bring up the topic of sex, you usually get two responses. It's not that serious, or it's a big deal. But oftentimes the same person ends up arguing for both sides of the argument. So on the one hand, you can't say, oh, it's no big deal, but then turn around and say, yeah, but I can't wait. Or I can't make a decision if I haven't had sex. Or I don't even know if I like this person if sex isn't part of the equation. Or all these things, if you really think about it, you sound like an addict. An addict says, it's not a big deal. I can quit whenever I want. I just happen to like it a lot. Okay, well, why don't you stop for a week? Well, no, because I just really like it a lot. Okay, but can you stop? I can, but I don't want to stop. You literally sound like an addict, right? Let that sink in. if it's really not that big of a deal, you should be able to control it. So I like eating steak. One of my favorite meals is steak and potatoes. I love a ribeye, especially if it's cooked on the grill. But it's not controlling me. I can go a week without it. Heck, I can go a month without it. I can go 3 months without it. I really enjoy it when I get it, but it doesn't control me. I don't fiend. I don't miss out on opportunities because I'm so busy trying to get my next steak. I like it, but it's not an addiction for me. It doesn't control my life. On the other hand, if somebody says, yeah, you know what, it is a really big deal, then why are we so careless about it? Why is it something that we are so casual about? I mean, it's literally called casual sex. It's no big deal. It's one night stand. It was just a hookup. This is a friend with benefits. Why, if it's such a big deal, are we so casual with it? Now, I want to get into this at the risk of sounding like some goody two shoes. I really want to break down logically the cons, because a lot of times people will say, oh, you know, someone for religious reasons is going to practice abstinence. And that's good for them, but I don't have faith in God. That's fine if you don't have faith in God and you don't have a religious reason for stopping. But I want to really provoke you mentally. I want to really ignite your thinking, to really think this through, because as I started out in this video, I said, you have been hoodwinked, lied, and bamboozled. Remember, we're going to go back to the analogy of the car. And there is a reason why I started with that analogy, because the person wasn't lying altogether. You were missing out on a lot. You were missing out on the breeze. You were missing out on the sounds of the discoteca. You were missing out on the beautiful smells. Those were all truths. But when you weigh it out in its totality, what are you losing for the sake of what you're gaining in that moment? I want you guys to go deep, right? I want to go deeper to the next level. I said we're going to learn today, so get ready. Get your little note cards and we're going to learn. Let's talk about the cons of sex outside of marriage. Now, again, I'm not even going to get into the biblical stuff, because that's it just is what it is. If you believe that there's a God and God says it's wrong, boom, period, point blank, there's no other reason to talk about it. So we're not going to get into it. What I am going to talk about is just the practical stuff that any person can think about. The very first one that's so obvious. What do people worry about having unprotected sex, right? Besides diseases, which is on my list. You worry about getting a disease and you worry about getting pregnant. So if you get pregnant, now you're faced with a decision. Do I keep? Do I not? And we all know with abortion, there's nobody who ever says down the line, man, that was the best decision I ever made. They might have said, you know, granted the rock and a hard place, that's what I chose and I have my reasons. No person is like, yes, aborted my unborn child. Yes. Nobody is choosing that. So even if you say, well, there's abortion, come on, that's not really a viable option. If you make a child, now for the rest of your life, you are stuck with this person that you may or may not like as a person. Okay, you might not even like their sex, but it resulted in a baby. Now you got to deal with the fact that you have a kid. You can't really move the way you want to move because legally you cannot leave the state without permission of their parents. I mean, come on, we all know this stuff. This is basic stuff. There's so many things. Children are expensive, not to mention the emotional trouble that you're going to have with the kid, not having both people in the home. There's so many things. I could do a whole video, and I feel like, you know, you guys are grown, you know the downsides of having a child outside of marriage. So it's not just about, oh, shame, 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 you had an illegitimate child. Practically speaking, it's not good. And then let's say you don't end up with this person long term and you do find your right person and you settle down and start a family. There's always going to be tension with the child that was, you know, born outside of your relationship and the kids that are born inside the home with the two parents. I mean, I could go into an entire video, layer upon layer upon layer of the downsides of having a child. Just because you could be a single parent and make it work, let's not pretend like that's somebody's goal. Nobody's goal is to be a single parent. You might thrive, you might love your kid, you might be killing it. It's nobody's goal. Can we just keep it real? Thank you so much for watching part 1. If you like this video, please like it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the share. And if you want to be amazing, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to be notified of upcoming videos as they drop, hit the notification bell and you'll get the glorious alert when new content drops. Speaking of new content, I'll be dropping my next video on part 2. Make sure you check it out.